Good evening, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I am honored to be before you, and I have a lot of great information. And it's one of my favorite presentations to do because it makes me very emotional about the impact that it has on the faculty members that actually take advantage of this program. So before we get into Bold Career Pathways Nursing Faculty Refinance Loan Program, I am Destre Capers. I'm the Director of Marketing and Outreach with South Carolina Student Loan. If you're not familiar with South Carolina Student Loan, we are a not-for-profit corporation in South Carolina. So we have a mission that we live by, and that is really to support the workforce development in South Carolina by providing financial support for students who are looking to pursue higher education. BOLD is a program that started out with us just working with our employers across the state, learning about their different pathways that they are trying to fill and partnering with them to help their students graduate with less debt, building that pathway so that they don't have to um, work so hard upon graduation as graduation season to recruit the top talent they can actually recruit early. So since then we've partnered with the Commission on Higher Education, which is a state entity um, who had a proviso written and approved by our legislature about 2 years ago to start a nursing faculty initiative. I'm sure you all know, one of the hurdles that a lot of students run into would be limited spaces for clinicals or not have enough slots for students to enter into their program because we may not have enough faculty members. And so the state thought it to be a smart thing to come behind our nursing faculty members, to encourage you all to either stay in the profession or go into the profession so that we can fix that bottleneck issue. So we're going to talk about the in-school model next month. This month, which is the latest iteration of the BOLD program, is specifically for nursing faculty members who are currently teaching. So whether this is your first year, your 10th year, or your 25th year, it doesn't matter. If you're already a nursing faculty member who still has outstanding student loan debt, this is a product that you could absolutely take advantage of. So we're going to walk through this product and program together. Again, like TK said, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and I will address all of those towards the end. But this is a very quick and succinct presentation, so I welcome questions towards the end. And what I'll also try to do as I go through the presentation is to share some of the questions that I typically get at certain points that may answer your questions during the presentation as well. All right, so I told you a little bit about the BOLD Nursing Faculty Program, and again, it's our newest iteration of BOLD, newest iteration of the Nursing Faculty Loan Program that we partner with the Commission on Higher Education. So we're going to start with the program overview and talk about the applicants. So this is going to be for a U.S. citizen, national or permanent resident of the United States. These individuals will be out of school. So they would have a student loan for their graduate or their doctoral program, and they have to be in some form of grace or post-enrollment status. That would also include forbearances as well as any deferments that you may have requested or that the federal government may have already placed on your account. This program, you can refinance private student loan debt as well as federal student loan debt. And again, this is only for graduate level loans or higher. The loan has to be in your name. So think of this as if maybe you're a parent, you're a nursing faculty member, and you have a student who you took out a loan for, and now you want to refinance it as a cosigner. This is not that program. So you can't be the cosigner of the loan. You actually have to be the student, or you were the student, and you're now considered the borrower of the loan. So you are the named borrower on that loan. for your education. For this program and working with the Commission on Higher Education and our deans across the state, they advocated for part-time or adjunct faculty to be qualified for this program as well. They knew how important it was for their programs that they have adjunct professors, and they too should be a part of this program. So in order to qualify for the forgiveness, and we're going to talk about the forgiveness piece shortly, you do have to be working at least part-time. And what was sent down to us was at least 1,000 hours. So if your college or your institution, HR department, however they calculate your hours, we don't get into that. That form, and we'll show you that form in just a moment, will be signed off by the HR department. As long as they sign off on it saying that you meet at least the part-time requirement, then you are good to go. And then I want to spend just a moment here on qualifying employer, only because currently the nursing faculty refi program, forgiveness portion of it can only be forgiven if you're working for a public college or university. So that would include our 16 technical colleges as well as our public institutions across the state. So whether it says college or university, that's all included. There is no credit requirement for this program, and I know this seems silly, but we do follow the outline of eligibility requirements for the federal programs. And so you can't be incarcerated, and I would assume if you were incarcerated, you're probably not a nursing faculty member either, but we do have to say that. So we're going to talk about loan limits. So you know how expensive education is or was. And so for this program, the state of South Carolina is very generous with this program. With the refinance program, the minimum loan amount that is allowed will be $5,000. I will tell you, since the launch of this program in December, I have not seen anyone just have $5,000 refinanced in this program. But we have had a few reach the max, which is $90,000. So if you are anywhere between $5,000 and $90,000 in student loan debt for your graduate or doctoral program, this is a program that you definitely want to consider. Now, what do you do once everything has been refinanced away from your private loan or from your federal loan? What we do essentially is we pay off that lender, and then we put it into the nursing faculty loan program, where the state or the Commission on Higher Education has agreed to forgive a portion of that for a certain amount of time, which we'll talk about on the next slide. Again, qualifying employers will be our South Carolina public 2- and 4-year college and universities across the state. And you have to be a nursing educator faculty member. So you have to be teaching. So whether that is bedside clinical or whether that is classroom, both of those would qualify. So how does the forgiveness work? You know, you can get up to $90,000. Well, once it's refinanced, let's just say you took out the whole 90,000, right? So the state has written into their proviso, for every 2 years that you teach, it will forgive up to $30,000. So after teaching for 2 years, well, let me back up a little bit. You will teach for 2 years. Annually, we will verify that you're still employed in that position with that employer. So once we reach 2 years, we will send the Commission on Higher Education an invoice that says, hey, TK has worked 2 years as a nursing faculty member, and so she is now eligible to have her $30,000 plus any interest accrued on that paid down by you. So if we calculate that correctly, if you took out the max, you would teach no more than 6 years in order to have that full loan forgiven. And if we think about the federal loan, Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, that program is set up for 10 years. You have to make payments during that program. And then at the end of your 10 years, you have to submit forms to see if you would qualify for that forgiveness. And then per other faculty members that I've spoken to, sometimes you are forgiven and other times you're not. With this one, you know that at the end of your 6 years, if you've worked at any of our public institutions, and if you move around, that's fine, as long long as it's currently at a public institution, they will allow you to have that all forgiven, and you would not be making any payments while you're working as a nursing faculty member. The Commission on Higher Education will pay not only the principal, which means the amount that you are refinancing away from your other lenders, but also the interest accrued while you're teaching. So again, this is an immediate incentive back into your pockets. If you're currently paying for a student loan for your graduate or your doctoral programs, and I've spoken to faculty members who have payments that are $1,000, $1,200. As soon as you are approved in this program, your payments stop. You go into deferment and you don't pay anything. You teach for 1 year, we'll send you a form to verify your employment. You will sign it, then take it to HR. HR will sign it, and you will stay in that deferment status for however long you need to for your program based upon the amount that you are borrowing. So I kind of talked about the forgiveness here, but I want to talk a little bit about, well, what if I'm not sure I want to stay as a faculty member? And this is where, the state has been very kind and very generous here as well. Let's just say you're already working as a faculty member, life happens, you have to go take care of family somewhere else. And so you move outside the state of South Carolina, and then everything ends up well and you move back and you start teaching again, you can pick back up and enter into this program, and they will begin to put you in deferment, and they will pick up payments as well. So either you can work part-time and still have the forgiveness done by working at one of the public institutions. If you end up moving away from your faculty member position completely and then enter back into a faculty member position at a qualifying employer, the state will allow you to enter back into this program. Um, but let's just say life gets crazy and you're like, nope, I'm tired of teaching. I thought it was my passion. It's not my passion anymore. Whatever the case, whatever the transition needs to be, life happens. We understand it. You would then be responsible for any of the remaining balance. So if the commission has already paid off your first 2 years, that $30,000, and life happened, you would then be responsible for picking up the remaining balance if you transitioned away from a qualifying employer during that time frame. And then if you come back, your payments go back into deferment, and then the Commission on Higher Education will pick it back up. So the interest rate is a fixed interest rate of 7%. That's what the Commission on Higher Education interest rate would be. And again, that's what yours would be as well. The commission essentially would be paying it off quicker for you within that 6-year time frame. And some of our faculty members don't have to work the full 6 years. Some of our faculty members don't have the full $90,000 or over the $60,000 that pushes them into those last 2 years. We have some that will be completely forgiven in 2 or 4 years, depending on the amount that they refinance. So if remember, it's for every $30,000 you borrow, you have to work 2 years. So if you say, oh my gosh, all I have left is 25,000, then you refinance that 25,000, and in 2 years, it's completely gone, wiped clean and free with positive reportings to your credit bureaus, and you are good to go. But if you had $31,000, now you have to work 4 years to have that completely paid off. So the first 2 years, they will pay off the $30,000, and then the last year, they will pay that $1,000 off. So it really just depends on how much you're looking to refinance, how many years, no more than 6 years that you would have to work in order for that debt to go completely away. So what I want to do next is take us to the website so you can actually see the application. The application and information of the program is on our website. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to transition the screen that I'm sharing, and we're going to walk through from a very high level through the application, just because we've had a couple of questions about it. We live in financial aid. We live in the world of student loans, but you all are faculty members. You don't. So we just want to make sure that you understand the application and promissory note that goes along with it. And probably the most important form on here is going to be the last page, the application deferment form, where we have a lot of questions. So I want to make sure that you all have an opportunity to see that as well. So I'm going to transition my screen. There it is. All righty. So you all should be able to see my screen, and this is the actual application. Okay, so I pre-pulled it up. I'll drop the link to the website once I stop sharing my screen in the chat, so that way you can go directly to the website. But this is the application, and so it has the information that we talked about. The eligibility criteria is right here on the very first page. It has some definitions. So currently, it is going to be for a qualifying employer, South Carolina public institutions. I will tell you this, we have had conversations with the Commission on Higher Education and with South Carolina Hospital Association that advocated for this program and for this proviso, to say that we have our private institutions that are creating nursing faculty members as well, and they have questions about it, and they have a passion to still educate nurses as well. So will there be an opportunity for private institutions at some point? I'm not sure, but just know that that conversation has come up and it still is circling the wagon, as they like to say. Then it goes into like repayment periods and eligible educational loans. Remember, your educational loans um, would have been used to pay for qualified education expenses. So whether that was direct to the college and then it possibly came back to you as a refund check to help with indirect expenses, so tuition, books, uniforms, living expenses, food while you were in school, transportation, laptops, all those types of things are considered educational expenses and a part of your cost of attendance. What would not be considered an educational loan would be if a loan was made in your name and it came directly to you instead of to your college. Okay. Then it has a little bit of information about the interest rate, and we talked about loan limits. So all of that information is going to be in your application. And yes, as you can see, this application is 10 pages, but I promise you it's not all the pages you do not have to do something on, but I would encourage you to read through it, because there is a promissory note that is connected to this that says if you transition away from your qualifying employer, you understand that you would be responsible. I'll tell you, my nurses, if they have any questions about whether they're going to stay or not, they usually schedule time to chat with me and talk about their specific situation before they do the application. And we've had some individuals where they're like, you know what, I have a program or I'm really close to getting the public service loan forgiveness. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this yet. And with that, we say, do your research and make the best decision for yourself. The proviso allowed us to have up to $5 million each year. And so I'll tell you right now, we are not in jeopardy of going over that amount at this point of time. So there is funding currently available. And at the same time, if something crazy were to happen and we got a ton of new faculty members, we can't also guarantee or hold that money for you. So definitely do your research, but I don't want to create a sense of fear that you're going to miss out on something either. I think information is extremely important anytime that you're looking at financial decisions, whether it's student loans, whether it's a refinance opportunity, buying or purchasing a home or a car. All of those things are really big purchases and really big moments. So please take your time to make a decision. Then it talks about the loan forgiveness. So for every 2 years of service, the state will forgive, AKA pay down $30,000 worth of debt. So you definitely want to read through this section, and I won't go through everything there. There's a little portion here on page 3 that talks about how to complete it, if there are any errors. And I will tell you the most important thing here, when we first started the program, we were seeing electronic signatures. And for this, we do have to have a wet live signature. So even though you may be able to type in your demographic information and other information, all signatures will need to be wet signatures. And then any corrections will also need to be made with a wet signature as well. Make sure you're signing with your full legal name and your promise to pay sections or anywhere that your name needs to be signed. Please write it, don't type it. All right. So now we're to the application part completely. All right. So this part is very simple. You're putting your demographic information here that you already know, right? Just basic information. The promise to pay section, this is where we have some questions sometimes, right? Because when you're refinancing, the amount that you see left, your principal, versus your payoff amount can be two different amounts, right? So part of this application, you do have to have some type of an idea of how much you think you're going to need. So what I recommend here is that you put 90,000 here, okay? If we find out based upon your payoff statements that you only have $54,279.27, we will automatically reduce it down. There will be no over borrowing in this program. There will be no refund checks coming back to you in this program. This is truly a refinance program that will completely pay off your student loans where they currently reside, put them into the BOLD program that allows the state to pay them down and pay them off for you. So there's no over borrowing in this program. So I would say if you're not quite sure what that number is, put the max and we will automatically reduce it down. What I don't want to have happen is you put down 10,000 and you actually needed 79,000 and now we have to go back and do another application. I don't want that to happen. So if we put the max, we can always reduce it down, but we can't push it up. And that's how our typical programs work as well. So page 4, at the bottom of page 4, that is where you will have your first actual live signature and you put the date there as well. The top of page 5, you're going to repeat your demographic information. And one of the reasons why we ask you to do this is because we actually need the physical paper. So you can't email this document to us. You can't fax it to us. You do have to mail it or drop it off at our office. We are located downtown Columbia, South Carolina. So you can mail it to us and I'll show you where the P.O. box is for you to mail it to us, or you can drop it off at our office. And if you're going to do that, I would say just let me know, because Mondays and Fridays we're typically hybrid and there may or may not be someone in the office. So I would just want to make sure someone is there to receive your application if you choose to drop it off. And we've had plenty of nursing faculty members decide to do that. The next section, which is a section that may cause some confusion just because this is a world that we live in once again. And some of this stuff that we're asking for, you're going to be like, excuse me, I don't know what this is. So I want to walk through your lender information. So on this page here, you will see that you have 3 slots. And you see that you have a lender name. So you may actually have multiple lenders. And so each lender will get, of course, a different section. But you may have multiple loans with one lender. And if that is the case, you do need to list these in the order in which you want them to be refinanced. So that bolded section right there, okay? So let's just say you have you have more than $90,000 worth of student loan debt, which I've spoken to faculty members or people in general who have more than that, and you're trying to figure out, well, which loan do I want to pay off first? Think in that mindset. So it may be the loan that has the highest principal, or it could be the loan that has the highest interest rate. And depending on your program and how long it took you to complete it, those interest rates and the principals can be different for each loan that you took out. So if you think about a loan period from August to August to July. That can cover fall, spring, and summer, right? So one year you may have needed funding for all 3 years. You got funding all in that one loan. Let's just say the next year you didn't need as much money, so you didn't borrow as much in the fall. You didn't borrow as much in the spring. You thought you were going to graduate, and then surprise, you need to do one more class that you hadn't anticipated. So now you have a fall, spring loan that's together. And then you may have a separate summer loan that's together. So that means that you would essentially have 3 loans with one lender's information that could have 3 different interests connected to it. Okay. So we pay off at the loan level, not the lender level. So we would need that lender's name written 3 times, the account number written 3 times, their payoff address, which may be different from their mailing address, listed 3 times, the principal amount, the current payoff amount, which means that they're going to say, if you pay it off today on May 14th, before your next payment happens, they will do some calculations to add in what your interest rate would be for that payoff amount on that day. And that's what we would need there. Okay. And then you would list your interest rate there, whether it's a federal or private loan. Either way is fine. And then whether you're in grace or repayment. So again, grace means that you have a 6 month grace period, typically after you graduate. Depending on who your lender is, you may actually have up to 9 months of a grace period where you're still accruing interest, but they're not expecting a payment from you. Then you can be in repayment, which means that you're actually making a payment, but then you may be in another repayment status that says, I'm in deferment or I'm in forbearance, which means that you have typically reached out to your lender to say, hey, I can't make this payment right now, and I need XYZ done. And they'll tell you whether it's a deferment or whether it's a forbearance, okay? You'll list that status there. All four of those are valid repayment statuses, okay? If it says that you're enrolled in school, you're not quite ready for this program just yet, okay? Bold in school, the nursing faculty program might be a better option for you if that's the case. So hopefully that makes sense. So I've had some nursing faculty members that have like 10 different loans with one lender, which was the federal government. And yes, they would have to repeat that information multiple times on the loan level to make sure that we're paying it off in the order in which they would like it to be paid off. So we do have 2 pages. So on page 5 is the first section, 1 through 6, excuse me, 1 through 3, and then page 9 has additional information. If you need to make another copy, you can definitely use page 5 or page 9 to keep it going to make sure that we have everything listed that you would like to have incorporated into the Bold Nursing Faculty Loan Program. And then we will also need a copy of your statement, your payoff statement or your statement, okay? So please include those as well with your application. So some borrowers have had to actually like chat with their lenders because it was not something that they could auto generate in their account. So they had to request their payoff statements and then it was mailed to their house. So, and then other ones, they can just go in and they can get their payoff statement by hitting a generate payoff statement. So each lender is a little bit different, even from the federal government, because it may be serviced by different people. If you can't find the document in your account, I would encourage you to pick up the phone, reach out to them via email or chat and figure out, do you need to request it or is it somewhere hiding in your account? And include those in your application as well. And then at the bottom of that page, you have the mailing address of where you would need to send it. If you are wanting to come to the office, we're at the corner of Main and Richland or Calhoun. It's in the old Bank of America building if you're in the Columbia area, right across the street from Transition. So if you're thinking of coming to the office, please just let me know so I can make sure, one, someone is there to receive it, and two, that we give you the address, which should be on Google, but I've had people end up on Main Street in West Columbia. Don't ask me, I don't know. And then the promissory note. So it goes into more information about the promissory notes there. So again, I would encourage you to read through that information. There's the second page of loans. If you need additional pages there, so you have 3 more slots. But again, you may have more than 6 loans, so you may have to make a copy of that page. And then the very last page, this is the cherry on top. This is, if we don't have this document, we can't process your application. It is the deferment form. This is going to allow us to do a couple of things. One, it's going to allow us to verify that you're actually working for your employer down below here. Okay. And then once we have that verification, then we're able to actually put your loan into deferment, which means that you don't have to make a payment. So without this form, we can't process your application. I will tell you, for the most part, human resource offices have been getting this form back pretty quickly to our nursing faculty members. And this was like back in December and January, where there were vacations, and they were getting an influx of these applications, and so they did turn them around pretty quickly. So hopefully you experience the same thing as well. They do need to give the form back to you. Literally, all you need to give them is this form. They don't need your whole packet. They just need this form. And again, you put your demographic information here to make sure that if for some reason this piece of paper gets separated from the rest of your application, we know that TK, Curtis Pugh, has submitted this document, and we can connect it back to the rest of your application. So still put your demographic information here. You are going to put your department that you work in, and then today's date, and then here's your wet signature again, okay? And then the date that you sign it. And then at the bottom, this is where HR will check full-time, part-time, or not employed, or less than the 1,000 hours, okay? They will print their name, their title, wet signature, and date, put the college, their telephone number, and their email, just in case we have a question. We have a point of contact that we can reach out to get those questions answered and process you quickly. So that is the application. I talked longer than it's going to probably take you to complete it, okay? Because I tried to think about some of the questions that people ask me along the way. What happens after you submit it? So you submit it, and our loan advisors begin to process your application. So depending on the documentation that's provided, they may reach out to you and say, we're missing something, or they may reach out to you, or they may not reach out to you at all. And if they don't reach out to you, that means they probably have everything. If you hear from them, it's going to come from an SC Student Loan, no s.org email, and they're going to ask you for any missing information that they may need in order to get you processed. I just remembered one thing that I forgot to say that's needed here: a copy of your ID. Not your work ID, but your state ID. So just make sure you include that as well with your payoff statements. Once it's processed, they will start working with the lenders that you are refinancing your loans from, where they currently reside, to get the checks cut to those individuals, to make sure that the addresses are correct, or maybe we need to send an electronic form of payment to them. But typically your application is going to be approved once they have all the documents within about 5 to 7 business days. I've seen them processed in a shorter amount of time than that, depending on if they have everything and there's no issues with the lender that we need to resolve, making sure addresses are correct and things like that. So typically within 5 to 7 days, you will receive a notice of loan approval. We call that an NLA. And we get a couple questions about that. So technically, this is a loan, but it's a forgivable loan because the state is going to pay down this debt for you. So if you get a notice of loan approval, or an NLA, your application has been approved, okay? Which means that if you were making a payment, that next payment, you're probably not going to have to make. I like to caution against saying, like, if you have a payment coming within the next 30 days, don't go spend that somewhere. Hold on to it until you get notification that everything has been processed and they're now moved over to us completely. And your account is showing at a zero balance with that previous loan servicer. So yeah, within 5 to 7 days, you're typically approved, as long as they get the documents they need in a timely manner. And then all that's left to do is teach, which y'all are already doing. So with that being said, I am going to stop sharing my screen and hop into the chat and maybe answer some questions, or maybe TK, you have some questions that you may want to ask as someone who is a nurse and in this industry. You may be thinking on behalf of your colleagues and the members that you represent. So I'm gonna stop
Sure.
sharing.
So I had a group of questions, and for some reason I can't pull them up. I guess I'm just having one of those days.
It's
So
all
I'm going to
right.
paraphrase them based on what I remember,
Yeah.
because we did have a couple people who wanted to attend who couldn't, who did ask a couple questions and asked that I ask them.
Okay.
While I'm asking this, I'm still trying to scroll through my email to see if I can find them. One of them
For sure.
was um it was regarding military. They said they were a military, they're currently in the military,
Mhm.
and if they were to if they were to go through the program and finish the program, start teaching in South Carolina, and for some reason got stationed to move somewhere else, what does that look like for them in the program?
Yeah, so that sounds like they may be interested in the in-school bold program and not necessarily nursing faculty,
No,
which I'll give you that.
this is somebody who's finished, who's looking at being faculty,
They're
is from
looking
what
at
they
being
said.
faculty. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
the person,
gotcha.
and again, I'm paraphrasing because
Yep.
but she said she wants to become faculty. She
Yes.
knows that they are here in South Carolina for the next 4 years, maybe longer.
Okay.
But she
Okay.
said, if my husband gets deployed and we have to go somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
what are my repercussions with regard to the program? And again, I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
paraphrasing.
nope, you're fine. So I would say that it depends on how much she's looking to refinance. If she's looking to refinance something under $60,000 and she's expecting to be here for 4 years, she would be good to go. If it's closer to that 90,000, then in theory she would have had $60,000 paid down, and then she would be responsible for the remaining 30 at that fixed interest rate of 7%. So currently, the way that the proviso and the program works, there isn't a military opt-out option for military dependents, but she could absolutely, he or she could benefit from actually working as a nursing faculty member, getting some of it paid down. And I've had some people say, well, I'm not going to refinance all of it. I'm going to refinance this portion because I know I have some money coming from somewhere else. There's a lot of different programs out there. And so they don't do the whole thing. They only do a portion of it. And so she could indeed just do $30,000 because she knows she's going to be here for 2 years. She works for 2 years as that nursing faculty member, gets that forgiven. And if they find out like he's getting out or he's not moving, his orders are keeping him here. As long as there's funds here again, and he or she hasn't reached the $90,000, she can come back in, or they can come back in and into the program as well. So once you hit that 90,000, you are locked in, you don't have any additional funds available, and then you would have to repay back at the 7%. But if she, I'm sorry, I keep saying she, I don't want to assume
It's
that all of the
okay.
faculty.
I believe it was the she too. So
Okay,
that's
okay.
fine.
So, or she can piecemeal it every 2 years or so. The only caveat there is if funding runs out, but because we share funding with the in-school model of bold
Uh-huh.
nursing faculty, as well as the refinance. So if we get more individuals going into the in-school model, it's possible that the funding may run out if they don't re-up on the proviso each year. So she has a
Okay.
couple of options. And of course, you can always pass my information off to her, and we can go further into detail about
Okay.
her specific situation. But hopefully that is a good starting point and we can
That's
talk some
great.
more.
And then that was a great segue into another question I had. And if anybody else wants to come off and ask questions, feel free. I'm just trying to run down those ones that I did get asked. That was a great segue into it. The person said, oh gosh, just that fast. My brain went somewhere. If for
And I
some
know,
reason, they basically said if they are a faculty member and their position gets eliminated for some reason,
mhm.
what is the expectation? Is the expectation for them to go find another job at a public school, or what are their options with it? That was,
Yeah.
again, I'm
So,
paraphrasing, so I
yep.
apologize.
Yep. So the way that the conversations have been happening when we've had conversations about, well, are we going to, if you went to school at MUSC and you were teaching at MUSC, or you wanted to teach at MUSC and MUSC unfortunately couldn't hire you or whatever the case may be, but you took out the bold program, are you going to have your loan like forgiven because they wouldn't hire you? And I'm not picking on any employer by any stretch of the imagination. They're all amazing, and you'll find your fit. But the impression is that, or the state would like you to look for employment at another public institution. That would be their position. And I don't work for them, but that's the conversations that we've had. There's probably openings at the technical college or other four-year institutions nearby where you may be able to still have that forgiveness benefit added on there.
Okay, that's great. And then the other question was about funding.
Hmm.
And the person said something to the effect that they wanted to know, like, you said something about like if they you partner with, or this program is shared. So in
Hmm.
the event, they basically want to know like when would the money run out, or how it is, what, how did they say it? Basically, they wanted to know if what, in what scenario, in what case would the money run out.
Yeah. Once you're in the program, you're in the program, right? So you should be good to go.
She
It's
said,
only
and I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, yes, Trey. I just thought about it. What she said was, she said, what if, and it was so funny the way she said it. She was like, what if like 1,000 of us went into the program all at the same time? Is there enough
Mhm.
money for us? Or will it, so it was that, that's the way she prefaced it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the way that I want everybody to think about the funding piece is that it's been funded for, I think last year was the third year, second or third year that it was funded. So if you think about that, that's about 10 to 15 million that's available. I will tell you that nursing faculty has probably utilized about 3 million of that, both in both programs. With nursing faculty refi actually using the most of that, right? So you all are in a really good place right now to take advantage of either the in-school model or the bold refinance model. Um, I'm sure we have, I don't know how many nursing faculty members we have across the state, but let's just say all 1,000 decided to apply at one time. We would process in the order in which we received them, and then completed applications would be processed before incomplete applications. Of course, we would still do the outreach to those individuals to make sure we get those documents. But then we would process in the order of completion, and then we would notify if funding has run out. I will tell you, we partner with the Commission on Higher Education in another program called the Teacher Loan Program. So kind of the same vein, but it's for the K-12 system. And for a couple of years, we would run out of funds. Luckily, they have allowed us, because there were some people who utilized that in-school nurse teacher loan program that decided teaching wasn't for them, so they were responsible for paying it back. Well, that money doesn't come to us. It actually goes to, it sits in a bucket. So we were actually to go and request additional funding so that we didn't have to deny. So because this program is so very new, no one is necessarily paying it back at this point, but all 1,000 applied, we would process those in the order in which we received them, and then the completion order. And then if we were to run out of funds, we would notify individuals if we ran out of funds. And then this funding comes from the proviso. If the proviso gets passed each year, then essentially there's going to be more money that's added
Correct.
each year.
Correct. Okay. I have one more, but someone did put in the chat. I teach
Yes,
at the University of South Carolina as a part-time nursing clinical faculty since 2023. I used the
yes,
loan toward achieving my doctoral degree. Should I
yes.
apply for this program?
If you use the bold in-school model for your doctoral program, but you haven't used all 90,000 that is available, and you have other loans, you absolutely can refinance that other debt that you took out. So if you have federal loans or private loans, Again, private loans that you may have taken out from South Carolina student loan, that's perfectly fine. Again, we'll refinance that up to your 90,000. If you used all 90,000 of the BOLD program for your nursing faculty doctoral program, then you wouldn't have any funds left. But I have had individuals who used it the last year of their program and they still have money left over and they borrowed from the federal government or somewhere else and they were able to incorporate that into the refi program. So you can.
Awesome. So the other last question that someone sent me, and this one was long, and I'm trying really hard to make sure I don't screw it up. This person said she lost a job, so
Okay.
she's currently in default on her loans.
Okay.
Is trying to figure out a way to get the loans. And this may be the wrong segment of the program to ask about this one. I'm not sure, but she wants to go back to teach,
Okay.
and she wants to go back to teach, but she's currently in default on her student loans because she lost
Okay.
her job, and she
Mm-hmm.
wants to figure out how to get her loans back into good standing so that
Mm-hmm.
then she could be potentially be able to do the program so
Eligible.
she could get her master's to teach. Okay, that's all I.
That's a that's a great question. So you do have to be in good standing with your loans. I'm glad that the default question came up. Even though this is not the in-school model, even for the refinance, you do need to be in good standing with your loan. So my first thing I would ask her to do is reach out to her lender. A lot of people run from their lenders, and I don't have it, so I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to answer their phone calls, but they're probably calling to, yes, remind you of the payment, but they probably have some programs that can help. So is it a um, income-based repayment program that you can enter into? Can you do a deferment? Can you do a financial hardship? Like, what do they have there that can help you get back into a positive status that would make that student eligible to be able to utilize a program like Bowl? So I would say pick up the phone, have a conversation, and I'll be very candid. When I was married, we filed taxes together. I couldn't make my student loan payment. I called the people crying, and that didn't help, by the way. But but I learned that even though I was paying my student loan, they looked at the household income. So then we had a decision to make. Do we want to file taxes together? I'm not a tax professional. Or do we want to file taxes separately? If we filed taxes separately, my payment went to $35 a month that I could actually do.
Oh wow.
So sometimes it's situations like that. Like if you just have a conversation, like I was like, I don't know why y'all looking at his income. I actually make this payment. I still didn't want to make it, but that ain't the point. That is not the point. The point is you don't know what your resources are until you pick up the phone and you call them and you let them know what's going on. So that's what I would recommend her to do. Oh goodness,
Awesome.
somebody's laughing at me.
It's me. It was me.
Okay.
It was me because when you said I ain't have it, like I just I ain't want to pay it. Look, we're
Right.
we're all good. We're all friends here. Um. Okay. So
We
next
had
question.
Karen log
Okay, you can
in.
see that one. Okay, perfect. You
Yes.
go ahead.
Yes, so she logged in about 3 minutes late, so she may have missed this, but is there an option for forgiveness for someone looking to become a nursing school faculty once they are hired? So I think you're in the right like this. We're gonna have 4 sessions. We started probably with the most popular, the one that's like getting a lot of attention right now, Karen. Depending on where you are, if you've already finished your education, then the refinance option is what you would want to look at. We essentially refinance debt away from other private lenders, including ourselves, or federal government programs into this state-funded program that would allow you to get your forgiveness through working as a nursing faculty member, whether it's full-time or part-time. So if you're done with school, the refinance program with you is for you. If you're not done with school, if you're still enrolled in school, but know you want to become a nursing faculty member, we're going to have a session next month that talks about the in-school nursing faculty program that will help pay for your nursing program. Um, Yes, pay for your nursing program up to $90,000. So it mimics the refinance program that goes up to 90,000. The in-school goes up to 90,000. Everybody will not work more than 6 years, so it's not like one is better than the other. It just depends on how you enter and when you enter, type of a thing. So hopefully that answered your question, Karen. Um, and I'm gonna drop my email into the chat. And then I'm also going to drop the link that I told you all that I was going to drop in the chat as well. Let me find it first. And then if we have any other questions that would pop up. And while I am doing this as well, we do present. I say we because I have a team of three that travels the state. So TK has been so kind and generous to allow us to share about the Bold Nursing Faculty Program. So we split it into two different conversations. One is this refinance program for current faculty members. The other one is going to be for individuals who are currently enrolled in a graduate program that's looking for funding that they know they want to become a nursing faculty member. And then we're going to start talking about how do you manage your student loan debt in our third session. And then our fourth session in August is going to talk about your students. And it honestly, it may pertain to you as well, but like, how do you prepare your students for college, paying for college? What are things that you can be doing? So we talk about the FAFSA, the importance of completing it, state aid, federal aid, some scholarship tips, and also understanding loans so that they can borrow responsibly. If they need to borrow. So, yes, we're a student loan organization, but we are a not-for-profit. So, we have a mission. And I like to say we're a part, the outreach team is a part of the heart of the organization because we get to go out and build relationships with families and students and school counselors and community-based organizations to be able to have these conversations that are very candid, very straightforward, and we try to be as helpful as possible. So, yes, avoid loans as much as you can. But realistically, about 75% of students will need to take out a loan at some point, whether it's a summer school loan, whether it's a graduate loan, whether it's a loan to make it through their undergraduate. They're going to have to take out a loan. So, what does that mean? How do I do it in a smart way? How do I borrow smart? How do I borrow responsibly? So, that is what we're here for. So whether it's something that you need or whether you want to connect us with community-based organizations, associations, your employer, whoever, so that we can provide this information from a very unbiased perspective, please reach out to me. I have team members that travel for free. We do this presentation, not this one and other presentations for free, just to help families understand how to navigate paying for college. So with that, if I'm done with school, I need
You should go one
I need a
more.
one-on-one. Okay, okay. I'm gonna drop my bookings link in the chat as well. And then you can schedule a time that works best for you. So give me 1 second to pull that up.
Oh, Destre, while you're doing that, I just want to mention to all of you who are on the call, I think this was a phenomenal webinar and it was very informative. I learned a lot. And we need to make sure that we are getting the word out about these because I think every nurse just a lot of nurses just don't know. And because they don't know, they don't engage in this because they're like, oh, that's not for me because I don't think I have a space in that. My ask to all of you who are on the call, and I'll continue to share it, is that you should tell other people about the rest of these series so that they can join in. I'm speaking for Destre, but I know she would be okay with me saying the fact that even if it was not about the particular topic on that day, even if it was about this topic today, she can circle back and share information during those other three sessions that we have planned. But we don't want anybody to miss out on this information. I will tell you the amount of stuff I have learned in the last maybe 2 months since I met Destre has been
Oh,
phenomenal. Because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. So now, as a matter of fact, just today, Destre, I did a interview for a Hilton Head TV station and mentioned the Bowl program. So we're trying really hard to do our part as the South Carolina Nurses Association to share with other nurses what's happening. I know Dean Andrews at the University of South Carolina is is all in on this. We've talked to some
Mhm.
other deans, so we're making sure that we're connecting and sharing it. I'm actually going to share it again tomorrow during the South Carolina Organization of Nurse Leaders meeting. So, in short, guys, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's on the call, please just share this information and let them know there's 3 more webinars about other things. And some of you have kids who are going off to college, and you got to figure out how to be engaged with them, right? And make sure that they're good. So please, 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 just share with everyone and just get engaged. And hopefully, you found some value in what we had to offer today.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I don't get to present very often, but I love to do it. So when I have an opportunity to do it, I'm like, I jump on top of it. So it was my pleasure to be with you all tonight. I'm going to hit enter on this link, this bookings link. It's long and it's looking really funky. So if it doesn't work for you, please just email me and I will send you the link via email and we can sit one-on-one and kind of talk about your situation and work through whatever you have going on. So I'm gonna hit enter. It looks weird and it looks funky. If it doesn't work, my email is in the chat. Just email me and I'll get this over to you, okay?
Oh, it's not bad.
And I
Oh,
don't
oh,
have
there
any.
it is. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
It is.
Yeah, it looks, yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
It is okay. Well, with that,
We love Microsoft.
we,
So,
we do. Destrade, we cannot thank you enough for being a partner with the South Carolina Nurses Association and just making sure that nurses in our state know what's going on. I am very, very grateful to you because I know this is after hours for you. So just thank you for giving of your time in the evening. And if y'all could, if you can do it in your chat or do it in your reactions, if we could just give her a little
oh,
hand clap to say
y'all
thank
gonna
you.
make me cry. It's my pleasure. Listen, this is I don't see.
No, you can't
Okay.
see. Oh, you know what? Because it's only showing. That's
Oh,
okay. So what we will do is those of you who have signed up for this, and I will take a screenshot of all the participants right now so I don't lose anybody. Let me do it right now. Um, and I can also see whoever that phone number is, 722, let us know who you are. You can come off mute. You should be able to come off. If you can't, send us an email. You can send me an email, executive director at scnurses.org. Let me know you are on here, and I will make sure we forward Destrade's information to you. And her booking link is at the bottom of her email, so we'll just send it and copy paste it so you'll have everything just in case. I'll try to see if I can switch it to everyone. Let's see if I can switch it to everyone and see if it'll copy and
okay.
let me know if y'all can see this. Give me a thumbs up if you can see it.
Yay! Can you put my email in there
Yep, I'm
also?
putting all of them in. Yep,
Perfect. Thank you so much.
no problem. I know
And
sometimes it
again,
can be
you
weird
know,
with this thing.
yes, we travel, even there's sometimes I don't get home till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So this is easy, okay? I'm home already. So this was a pleasure. It's probably one of my favorite presentations to do just because my nursing faculty members are like, what's the catch? I'm already doing the job and they want to pay me and they want to pay off my student loan. I've never heard of this. And you're right, this program does not exist anywhere else across the country. So believe it or not, South Carolina is leading the way in some great things. And I hope that everyone on the call, and it usually takes like one person in their department to do it. And then they're like, it was so easy. And then like everybody else starts doing it. So lead the way in your department. And if you have any questions, email me, reach out to me. My team will travel to you and sit and talk with you, whatever the case may be. So just let us know what you need. We're here to support you and your families. Um, and so, yeah, so who knows where you might see us next time. I'm hoping that we'll be able to come to the conference in the fall. We're working on some stuff now. So TK, I'll be in contact with you if I have any additional questions about that.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Sounds good. Well, thank you
Awesome.
again, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. I will figure out how to make this a link on our website. Well, Rosie will so that we can share this. Because I don't even want to lie, act like I'm that tech savvy. But thank you for everyone, and we'll get this out as soon as we can. But again, that's it. Thank you. Oh, Okay, I
Thank
got everything.
you.
I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, but I got them all. All right.
Perfect. Awesome. Good night, y'all.
Everybody have a great evening. Thank you again for joining.